heavyweight? I mean, who is he going to fight at 205 now? Maybe Gustafsson, because Gustafsson just looked really good with Thiago Silva. You know, he could fight some guys, but there's no like one standout guy. Maybe Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson stands out. Dan Henderson said he wants a title shot. He'll fight like Anderson at 85, or he'll fight John Jones at 205. I think he prefers to fight at 205. That could be interesting. Henderson's a fucking beast, man. You can't count him out with anybody.
Yeah.
Henderson's a scary dude.
And you know what? Who knows? Maybe Fedor goes at 205. Maybe he... Can you imagine him cut up at 205?
I would, yeah.
Those guys are just too big for him. Like, Bigfoot was just too big for him.
Yeah.
He just couldn't handle it. And, you know, the Dan Henderson fight, shit. Most people lose to Dan Henderson. And he was in it. You know, it wasn't... I think Fedor's still in the mix, man. But I think he really needs to start training and eating right and get down to 205 and dominate there.
Yeah, well, he's certainly got still nasty skills on his feet. His submissions have always been great. It just doesn't seem like he fights with the same sort of passion that he used to have for it. I think it's inevitable. Certain guys, they have a certain amount of time in this game, and after a while, it just, you know, you hear him talk about it, and he says, you know, it's God's will, and it's this, and that. You know, he's really more into religion these days than he is, I think, into going out and fucking people up. You know, so I've always been a Fedor fan. You know, I thought the days when he was dominating in Pride, I mean, he's one of the most exciting guys in the world to watch. He was amazing, man. But all fighters, they go through a cycle. The greatest of all time, they all go through a cycle where they're almost unbeatable, and after a while, there's some deterioration or the talent pool increases, which is one of the things that I certainly think happened in the UFC. You know, I think the talent pool has gotten bigger and bigger. And Fabricio Verdum, the first loss, you just cannot fuck around with Fabricio Verdum's guard. You can't. You can't play cute with that dude. He just locks your shit up. When I talked to Ryan Parsons about Fabricio, when he talks about how King Mo and Mayhem and all those guys were training with Fabricio, he said none of the ground and pound works. None of it. Fabricio just moves you around, just puts butterfly hooks in on you, moves you around. You know, they can't hit him. They can't beat him up on the ground. He's just too fucking dangerous. That heavyweight, long build with a sick guard like he has. If anybody gets on top of that guy when they're on, good luck. You're in a fucking terrible situation. That guy on his back, and you're on top of him, and you're fucked. You're in a bad spot.
Unless he's tired, because Overeem was in his guard.
That's true.
So he was really tired.
And Overeem's not really human. Besides that motherfucker.
What's the latest with Overeem?
They say they have some reason for why he tested over a certain number, and they also say that the number he tested may not have been accurate. This is the rumors. This is everything, by the way, is completely hearsay that I'm saying. I don't have any direct from Overeem information. Some people believe that he is going to be able to be licensed to fight, and that I don't know. We're going to find out on April 24th. On April 24th, that's when he has his hearing. I don't know if the commission makes a decision on the same day. I think they do, but I'm not sure. But then we'll probably find out what the fuck they decide to do, and what the situation is exactly. If it was something he took, if it was something that's not true, if it was a mistake, if it was a tainted sample. I don't know, man. I don't know, but, you know, I mean, if you're going to look at a guy that you would think that might be using something that makes you look awesome, how about the most awesome-looking body in the history of the world? I mean, who's got a better-looking body than Overeem?
Cindy Crawford, Meg Ryan.
For girls. Oh. For girls, yeah. But for dudes, don't you think, out of professional fighters. Out of professional fighters. Really. She was hot when she was young. Yeah. Out of professional fighters, who's got a better body than Overeem? Nobody.
I like Sam Stout.
Do you like that? He's got a very good body as well. If he was as big as Overeem, he'd be equally impressive. Vladimir Klitschko was on the flight from Fort Lauderdale. He sat right next to Duncan. Holy shit, is that guy big. Woo! He's the heavyweight champion, one of them. The two brothers, you know, there's two white guys are the heavyweight champions right now. We're living in a fucking crazy world.
Yeah.
Two white guys who are doctors. They have PhDs.
How dead is that heavyweight division in boxing?
There's not much there, man. There's David Hay. He's big in Europe, and there's a couple other guys, but no. And Klitschko's just boxing everybody's fucking face off.
When was the last time we had a heavyweight pay-per-view?
That's a good question. I get Klitschko, I think, has pay-per-views. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just fights I know he's huge in Germany, because he lives in Germany. He speaks like a fucking 100 different languages or some shit. He's a super genius. He was playing chess on his iPad all the way back from Fort Lauderdale.
Kimbo might be the heavyweight champion. Can you imagine Kimbo against Klitschko? Come on.
Did you see him? A lot of people think that his last fight was a dive. Have you seen all the criticism online?
I didn't even pay attention.
A guy came online that fought him and it defended himself and made a lot of sense to me. I mean, sometimes people just get caught. It looks like a dive. but it's just you're tired and you get clipped on the jaw and your shit just gives out on you. It is possible. But there's also a lot of dives out there in this world.
Hey, dude, right now is a perfect time for Kimbo.
Yeah.
Come on, he could take over that heavyweight division. There's no.
Could you imagine?
Who else is in there? There's nobody.
Vladimir Klitschko. Dude.
That could be a huge fight, dude. Kimbo
Are you
against
what
Vladimir.
the fuck are you talking
That would be
about?
huge.
Oh my god.
Come on.
You really think that Kimbo could hang with Vladimir Klitschko though?
It would be huge.
Just numbers
It
wise.
would be huge.
I bet you're right. I bet for pay-per-view numbers.
It could
I bet
save
do
boxing.
great. Well, what
Make
if,
a rematch out of it.
I say, what if Kimbo just really becomes good at it? What if all the, working on takedowns and all that shit, that's just not his thing. He's got a bad knee.
You saw the YouTube videos. The guy has a left hook.
Yeah. And he's got a bad knee. Apparently he's got like one knee that's like bone on bone. It's like, remember they did a thing on it on The Ultimate Fighter? The doctor like did an MRI on or some shit. It was like, you got a real deterioration of your cartilage and your ligament. So all that leg kicking and all that, sprawling and shit and jiu-jitsu, maybe that's not for him because his knee's so fucked up. Yeah. But if he could just stand and throw those hands, it's good enough.
Evander would fight Kimbo. That would be a big fucking fight. Can you imagine that?
Evander's still fighting. He's like, how old is he?
That would be a huge pay-per-view fight.
He's got to be like 48 or 49, right?
Something like that.
Who would have ever thought? Remember when he was fighting Riddick Bowe? Remember those fights back in the day?
Yeah.
Those were crazy wars.
Dude.
A small dude with a huge heart and a big guy that was real talented but didn't train that hard. And they just fucking went to war.
Woo! Riddick Bowe.
Riddick Bowe was talented, man. But he just never had the work ethic like Holyfield had. He just never could completely get it again. And then Galata came along and just fucked up his life. Galata fucked him up. Apparently they said the Galata beatings were really the beginning of the end for him. He should have never lost to Galata in the first place. The first fight, Galata beat the shit out of him and then dropped him with body shots to the nuts over and over again. Like it was purposely hitting him in the nuts to get out of the fight. It was the weirdest thing ever. And that was it for Riddick Bowe. Like after that, he was never really the same guy again. Those are the days, dude. The days of the heavyweight division in boxing when it was like that's what you'd look forward to. Remember Michael Dokes and remember all those dudes when Tyson came along and just cleaned out that whole division. Pinklin Thomas and
Roy Nelson could take over boxing.
I bet he could beat a lot of dudes, man.
Hell yeah.
Roy Nelson could beat a lot of dudes. That guy's got an incredible chin. Imagine how good his chin would be with boxing gloves.
Yeah.
His chin is good with MMA, with knees. He takes solid knees to the face.
Dude, Roy Nelson versus Butterbean, that could be on the undercard of Kimbo Evander.
Dude, that's actually a great card.
Come on.
That's a great card. Holy shit. But it would never happen. Roy would never get out of his UFC contract just for that. There's not that many fights.
It would be huge, though. There's a lot of money in boxing. We need a heavyweight division.
How many times have we started this music? It's been like at least
A million times.
I'm trying to get you to put it together, man. Use your connections. Talk to Bob Arum. Bob Arum, if you're listening out there, Kimbo versus Evander, and then the winner of that gets Klitschko. Boom, boxing's back. Boxing is back. Roy Nelson against who? Roy Nelson against who?
Who did we say Roy Nelson against? Butterbean.
Butterbean. Oh, dude, forget about it.
Forget about it. Is Butterbean still fighting?
Fuck yeah.
No,
he'll never quit.
He's so big, man.
Can't be.
Yeah, he's way bigger than he used to be, and he used to be enormous. He's huge now. I mean, he had a cooking show for a while.
He's working on a Carlos Jr.
Yeah, he could put away some fucking food. That's a big boy. Big Alabama boy. He was working in an American Top Team, too. He's trying to do some MMA for a while. Remember he fought Genki Sudo? Genki Sudo leg locked him?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked your ear off. We appreciate the fuck out of you. I appreciate everybody who came down to Fort Lauderdale Improv. It was